Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL, and today I'm out in the field again. I'm at the Blue Ridge Parkway, one of my easier spots to get to here near the Folk Art Center. It's very busy. People are coming in here, and you'll hear traffic behind me as people are going through the parking lot, because basically most of the Blue Ridge Parkway has been closed off because we've got some inclement weather coming up here in a couple hours, and they don't do any sort of snow plowing or anything on the parkway. So anyway, so people are coming into this parking lot to kind of turn around and go back. So you can hear a lot of cars, unfortunately. Today, so I decided to do, in my kind of series of pairing radios with different antennas, different antennas each time, I've got the Icom IC-705 out again, operating it purely off of the little battery pack that comes with it. And I've decided to get my Elecraft AX1 antenna out and see how well the 705 will pair with that antenna using the MAT 705 Plus external antenna tuner for the 705. I have no clue if this will work. So typically when you start a video, if you're a good YouTuber, you've tested things in advance, you've planned it out really well, you know things work so that when you demonstrate it, it will work the first go. I have never paired the 705 with the AX1, definitely have never used the 705 Plus antenna tuner with it, and also I'm using a very compromised antenna on a day with very poor propagation, which is something you should never do. Really on days like today when propagation in the higher bands is a little low, just not working very well, you really should put up a larger, like a nice end-fed wire or something resonant, a dipole, something like that, where you can really take maximum benefit of your 5 watts out or whatever. I'm not doing that today because I don't know why. I just like shaking it up sometimes, I guess. So the AX1, I have not tried yet. I may be able to make it work with the little bipod thing on there. I'm not sure. But I could probably attach it directly to 705, but the 705 doesn't have an internal antenna tuner. And I know I can't easily, I don't think, attach the AX1 to the MAT 705 Plus tuner. So what I'm going to do instead, and I've never done this before, I'm actually going to mount the AX1 on this tripod I brought with me. And because you can do that, and I have the little tripod mount, never used it, so it'll be kind of fun seeing how well that works today, and hopefully it will. Anyway, let's give this a go. I'll go ahead and set everything up. I haven't done a single thing here. If you're new to this channel, this is a real-time, real-life, no-edit video. So if you want something that's fast-paced, you have come to the wrong place. If you want to watch someone do a perfect operation, you've also come to the wrong place. But hopefully this will be fine. I do have a limited amount of time today. I've got an errand I have to run, and I have to be there within a certain window of time. So I will probably have to cut this a little short today. And I need to at least get 10 for a valid activation, and that's really my goal here today. Okay, so I'm going to try to put this on my tripod so you can kind of watch this. You won't be able to see everything here. The only thing I've done in advance is I've put out a 31, I think it's 31 or 33 foot counterpoise wire for 40 meters, which is probably where we'll start today because I have a limited amount of time, and that's usually my most productive band. And I've got the AX1 antenna, like the entire antenna is in this little kit here. The only thing I did in advance was I did attach the tripod mount to this, and hopefully this will work. So let's see. So I'll go ahead and set this up, and I'll do the 40 meter band. So I'm going to add the 40 meter extension to this. This antenna, I've only ever paired it with Elecraft radios, with the KX2, the KX3. I've never paired it with the 705. And let's see here, and it's got a little switch here to tune between the 20 meter band and 17 meter band, or if you are using the 40 meter extension, you put it in the 20 meter position. And let's see if I can attach this to the tripod easily. Boy, I tell you what, there's very little room to spare actually. I didn't test this in advance, and this particular mount on this tripod is wide, but I've got enough room, I think, to attach my BNC cable, which is all I really need to do. There we go. That looks like it's holding. Now let's put the telescoping whip on there. Carefully pull this out. My top section of this whip is a little bit finicky and sometimes wants to pull out. I need to call Elecraft about that. There we go. Make sure it's extended all the way. Now, I actually have two options here in terms of the counterpoise. I didn't realize until I was just putting this on. So you do need a counterpoise wire. You cannot operate this antenna effectively without a counterpoise wire, because that is a very important part of the antenna system. I can either attach this to the transceiver, and fortunately, there's actually a lug here for a ground on the Icom IC-705, which is brilliant. So I could just take this and connect it up there. However, I realized that on the tripod mount itself, there is a little connection for the ground to be attached. Sorry, I know this is probably a little bit wobbly, but it's right here. I think I'm going to attach it here so that it's right here with the antenna. That, I'm guessing, is the more efficient way to do this. Please comment if you know anything different, but I'll go ahead and hook this up to the antenna itself. There we go. Okay. Now we just need to connect up the feed line. I've just got this ABR cable that I'm using here. I'll plug it directly in. This is a BNC connector. BNC connector. And now I'll move this camera over here. And I'm sorry if this is a little jittery and shaky. My phone does not have stabilization built into it. I don't want to make anybody seasick doing this stuff. Okay, so now the moment of truth is upon us. Will this tune up the AX1? This is probably a pretty challenging antenna for this tuner to match, but we'll see what it can do. Actually, one of the things I love about the AX1 antenna is just how quick it is to deploy. When you're doing it with a tripod, it takes longer to do, of course. But, by golly, it's quick. If you're connecting it directly up to the Elecraft KX2 or KX3, it's very fast. Probably have dog hair on my transceiver. Let me get my glasses out so I can see what I'm doing here. Let's turn this on, and gotta admit, I'll be a little bit nervous about this, because if it doesn't work, I've brought some other antennas with me, but hopefully it'll tune it up. Oh, I forgot to connect the, one thing about the, so this is the MAT tuner MAT-705 Plus antenna tuner. This is not the original, but the Plus version, which is the one I would recommend. You'll know that it's the Plus version because it has a charge port on the front, a USB-C charge port. So I go in here and pull out both my microphone for the 705 and my charging cable. Now this tuner will not work with the 705 without connecting up the, basically it's like a little cat cable. And it goes on the right side of the radio. It's got a tuner port right here. It's the second one down from the top. Plug that in, and you'll notice that there's a little light on, which means it's got power, which is good because you know what? Didn't even think to charge this before I've left. I've only charged it once, and it's probably done about 6 or 7 activations on that charge, which is a good sign. Okay, now let's move to the 40 meter band. And let's move to the SSB portion. Because we're going to start with SSB, which is probably a bad idea, actually. CW would be much more effective, but hey, while we're doing all the things we shouldn't do today, let's just enjoy this. Okay, let's see if it'll tune up here on maybe 732. I really need to be away from QRM because I'm operating QRP power, so low power, into a very compromised antenna. Oh goodness, that's one of the things I don't like. By plugging in the mic, it tripped off the antenna tuner because it has this connection to the 705. I keep forgetting that with Icom stuff. So normally I would ask if anyone's on frequency and then do a tuning up, but I couldn't do that this time. Let me plug in my key here because obviously there's nobody on here. Nobody's yelled at me, but there's stations all around this. So I need to get on here pretty quickly and save my spot while there still is one. Let's put this in here. Okay, I'm going to move to CW just for a second. What did I hit? Okay, let's see. I want to see what the SWR is. Ooh, SWR is really high. Let's try to tune that one more time. This may not tune up on... did I do everything correctly? This may not tune up properly. Let's see. Let's go back to function and tuner. Okay, it tried. No, it cannot make that match. Let's try to go down to the CW portion of the band. Maybe it'll do better down there. Let me double check and make sure. I think I've got it on the 20 meter position there on the antenna. I've got everything hooked up correctly. Let's try it down on the CW portion. Whoops, let's see. There we go. Still very high. So I got another trick up my sleeve. Let's try the Elecraft tuner. Let's see here. It's also brought the T1 with me. That goes to the antenna. Yes. This goes to the transceiver. There is no cat control cable with the T1 yet. However, Elecraft has designed a nice little matching cable, little box, that will give you cat control, sort of like with the excuse me, the 705 Plus antenna tuner and the Icom AX1 They're making a little cable that'll connect right here into that port. Okay, let's see what this can do. Now this one, since it doesn't have a cat control of any sort, I actually have to tell it to tune. So it tuned it. Look at that. You know what? Since I'm on the CW bands, I'm going to go ahead and play a little CW here. But look at that, it tuned it where the MAT-705 couldn't. But let's be honest here, this is a pretty challenging tuning situation. Let's see what it got. That's not too bad. About a 1.2 to 1. Okay, let's see if there's anybody on one of my favorite frequencies for calling in POTA, which is 7063. I'll just start here because I'm here. So I'm going to mark it here in my log. I did not bring my tablet with me today, so all of this is going to be just done with paper. I did bring my daughter, K4TLI, who's off camera right now, and she normally does logging for me, but I just didn't even think about grabbing my tablet on the way out, so this will be done by hand. And let's see, it's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So it's 17, about 17:20 right now. Let's go ahead and start calling CQ. So I'm going to bring up my automatic keyer, and well, let's make sure nobody's here. I don't hear anybody. There hasn't been anybody on here anyway, so let's have the 705 do the calling for me. Now I have not scheduled this activation. I left without doing that. So I am going to put my frequency in and spot myself here. This is one of the sites where I actually have internet access. So I'm spotting myself with my wife's phone. .63, correct? Yes. There we go. I'm spotted. So now we listen. I feel like I'm missing something here. I know what I'm missing. Gloves. It's cold. I don't know if these are going to work or not. I'm going to try this. We'll see. We'll see how these work. Usually I'd wear like thin gloves, but maybe since I can feel my fingertips on here, I can still write. I don't know. These are probably going to get in the way. I just don't know how this is going to work. It's a little too thick, I think. That's okay. This hand will be fine. I can keep one warm at least. Now, just because I have a match, let's be really clear, I'm not getting a full 5 watts of power out of this antenna because it's not terribly efficient, especially with a little extra coax leading up to it and all that. It's not super efficient. I'm going to move my filter a little wider. I should probably key a little bit just so my hands can do it. Oh, nice. There's a wind link or something right next to me, too. We have to be patient when we're using low power and we're using compromised antennas. Now that I've spotted myself, the reverse beacon network will keep my spot fresh on the POTA network. I'll use my auto memory keyer to send him back to you 7-3s and my call sign. So Indiana, not bad. He gave me a pretty weak report, but that's pretty much expected. But he could hear me fine. Okay. Okay, that's easy actually. I just couldn't hear him for some reason. Okay. Okay, so KT or K2 EKM. Now, one really interesting thing about this antenna got him. Ooh. Boy, he just kind of dropped out, didn't he? Let's see. Oh well, maybe he'll come back. Well, we got 2 so far. We need 10. And what I was about to say is that this antenna on 40 meters, I find operates like a Nimbus antenna. So I forgot to write down his, I got distracted. Sorry, off camera I got a little distracted while he or she was sending their state. And I have no automatic logs or anything like that, so I can't bring that with me. I can't look it up on site. Normally it's pretty easy to do. But that doesn't matter. You don't actually submit the state when you submit your logs. So Tennessee. So I'm in North Carolina. Tennessee is what I would expect with this antenna. Normally I wouldn't expect it with a wire antenna. This one just tends to get closer stations. So we got 4 now out of the 10 that we need. And any Canadian ham radio operators watching me right now will be laughing because I'm complaining. It's like 32 degrees, so 0 degrees Celsius, not that cold. But there's something about just sitting down and not being actively moving or hiking or whatever. You just get colder quicker, especially your hands. I really need to... see some really loud activity here on the band. Looks like a... I got him. That was my friend Mike, K8RAT. See, his signal came up a little bit there. But yeah, this antenna on 40 meters acts a little bit like a near vertical incident skywave antenna in NVIS. Today the path's a little longer than it normally is. Normally with this antenna, I end up working stations in Tennessee, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, sometimes Alabama, and Georgia. Just all the states that are right around North Carolina, and usually Ohio too. And I think that's just because there's so many operators out there in Ohio, but I never expect a very long path. Now, NT2A, who I know is in New York, he obviously could hear me, but then I faded out on him. I must have faded out on him, and he couldn't hear my reply. And I'm not sure if this 8 station's in Ohio or Michigan or West Virginia, but, you know, I was really impressed to get Indiana on this antenna, actually on 40 meters. Now, 20 meters, I'll do a lot better with it. I've worked Alaska with this antenna on 20 meters and 5 watts before. NCW. Now, I probably should move over to single sideband here in a moment. I've been calling CQ here for a bit. We'll maybe see if we can get anybody. I'll call CQ one more time. Okay, let's see if we can do 40 meter single sideband with this thing. So now here's the thing. Even though I am operating, let's make sure we put it in single sideband mode so I can see if anybody's on frequency. This is the frequency I checked before. To really do a good job tuning with the T1 without the upcoming cat cable connection, I really want to do it in CW when I do that. Is this frequency in use? Right now I'm getting a 1.5, I think, is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. So now I'll move over to CW and tell this to tune by pressing and holding that. Will it do it? Will it do it? Yeah, it did. Took it down to about a 1.3. There's a little QRM on the side here, but I'm going to go for this anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and start calling CQ POTA with my recorded message. Whoops, can't do that. Sorry, I keep forgetting. I have to turn it over to voice and then pull my voice. Now it's calling CQ for me. You can't hear that because I don't have the side tone turned up for this. Now I need to spot myself on the POTA network because the reverse beacon network's not going to pick up my voice call. So let's see. And I'm lucky enough here to have internet access. So I got to take advantage of it. 7235. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, spot. So now I'm going to write down 40 meters, single sideband, and hopefully someone will hear my call. I'm going to do it manually here in a second anyway, even though... See, now I can operate my mic just fine with my gloves on. And you'll notice that on the 705, I do not use the mic, speaker mic. I just don't like speaker mics too much. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Let's go back to doing it automatically. Now, with single sideband, your signal efficacy, I guess you'd say, is not as good as it would be with CW. CW just works much better with compromised antennas. It takes full advantage of whatever wattage you have coming out. Single sideband doesn't really get to use all that power, so it's a little less efficient. However, there are more single sideband operators out there than there are CW operators. So I'm hoping maybe someone will hear me anyway. I am getting the impression, though, maybe it's just because propagation's bad today, but I'm getting the impression that that antenna is doing a little bit better when I've got it hooked directly up to like my KX2 or KX3. So one thing that you'll notice, I do think I'm operating full. Yeah. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. This might be wishful thinking today for this. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Those ionosones go through and they just really wipe out. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. This is roughly the equivalent of using like an HF-HT, like using a handheld, because this is such a small antenna. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, calling CQ for Parks on the Air. I'll let this do it for a little while. I do think that it actually operates better when I've got it connected directly up and I don't have any loss in feed line, even though this is really nice quality feed line for being, you know, thinner feed line. I do think that when I have it connected directly to the transceiver like I do with the KX3 and KX2, it just works a little more efficiently. There's just less loss, and when you're talking about so few watts and you know, so few wattage and then just such a small antenna, it probably does better. But hey, if we don't try things, we never know about it, right? Let's see. What I may do, I keep forgetting about this, since I'm not really used to having internet access at all the parks I go to, I will go around and look and see if I can hunt parks, probably in CW, because if I do it in single sideband, I'll have a hard time with this setup punching through any sort of pileups that there could be out there. I'll spot myself again. There's so many people operating today too that people are probably not spending a lot of time on my station. I mean, there are just a ton of stations out there today. Wow. That's impressive. I think, you know what, this may be Winter Field Day weekend. Yeah, it very well could be. I haven't been paying attention this year. Normally I'm following that, but I've had other projects going on, and that slipped by me. Of course, I don't know when it starts. Maybe it hasn't started yet. But there are a fair amount of stations around I can see on the waterfall display. Like, I don't need a waterfall display in the field, but it is kind of nice. It helps you find clear spots. You can see what's going on next to you. There's someone probably trying to tune up to hear me. I'm going to probably move back to CW here and see if I can work some CW stations. Try to do some park to parks. Yeah, just not getting a lot of action here today. Single sideband. Now, if I wasn't in a hurry, I'd spend more time here. But I'm in kind of a hurry, so I need to use strategies that'll get me my contacts as quickly as possible. So let me try to go out here and see if I can find some CW stations to work. Okay, do we have any CW stations? Yep, there's one on 7042. Okay, let's do this. Let's turn off this, put on the keyer. Wait a minute, gotta move to, there we go. And let me change this to keyer, and then let's move down to 7042. Let's see if we can work KZ3L here. This is a tough one. He's got a pile up, he or she. And you know, I haven't tuned up yet. You know what? I'm looking now and realizing can't see anybody there. Let's tune up. Okay, let's see. Now you did it before, tuner. I hate tuning up this long, even if there's nobody on frequency. I don't like doing it. Now that'll give us a little bit more efficient. This may be a little tough. I only need 5 more contacts. I can do that. If nobody minds hanging around here on the video while I'm doing this. Yay! Now, since this is a park-to-park, I'll tell him P to P and give him my signal report info. No. That's a mouthful to get out, isn't it? So he thanked me for the park to park. Let's see what time it is. So 17:50. Boy, I've got to be moving. So that's saying something that I could actually bust through that little bit of a pileup that was going on there. Okay, let's see if there's any more by chance. 70:30. There's somebody down there. Let's see if we can hear him. Sorry, that was somebody jumping in on top. I thought I missed a call sign there. That was somebody jumping in on top of me. So I heard him respond back with my call sign, but I must have gotten kind of wiped out by the other station. We'll just take our time here. Oof. You know what? I'm going to move up to my own frequency and start calling CQ again. I say my own frequency, like I own it. Look at that, I've got like a 1-to-1. So I didn't get W4ALF, but that's okay. He or she's got a little pileup going on there. I need 3 more stations and I'm going to call it quits. I'm really going to just go with my 10 that I need because I am running behind on my errands today. But like I said, I kind of set myself up for an adventure because I knew that I was using all the wrong equipment on the wrong day doing what I'm doing, but I kind of like doing that because it makes it just a little more challenging than setting up a big antenna, 100-watt transceiver, and kind of pounding my way through. I can do all that. I've got all that equipment, but I just prefer trying it this way. And It's just a little more fun. But if I did use 100 watts into even one of like my chameleon impasse antennas or something like that, or at least 50 watt CW into one of those, I'd be all set. I would have easily worked enough people already. I get that a little loud. This always attracts attention when you're at a park, when people hear CW. Is that Morse code? Who is that guy, a spy? If I was a spy, probably wouldn't be using Morse code this loudly and such a conspicuous... Is someone seriously tuning up on me? No. That is there's a... Okay, I think they probably got me there. Okay, I may have to move up and away from this. Okay, there's somebody else way down there. I'm guessing they're just looking for this frequency, but I want to move off this frequency a bit. And the reason why is I don't want to be whammed by that digi mode operator. That was insane. I don't know if they were just tuning up or what. Yeah, okay, here we go. Let's see, let's start calling CQ again. So I need 3 more. I could move up to 20 meters, but that's going to take me time and I'm in a hurry and I can't decide if it makes sense. Probably going to have less likelihood of working someone on 20 meters today. So many cars passing by me as they're realizing that the parkway is closed and they're trying to turn around here in the parking lot. It's just mildly distracting. You can see FT8ers. I think that's FT8 up there on the band. Yeah, that'd be 10 kilohertz up, and that's 7074, which is FT8, and you can see them there operating. I may end up moving to 20 meters and doing this a little bit. try 20 meters maybe. Okay, let me go back to this other station though and see if I can work them somehow. Where were they? 7030. See if they're still there. Okay. Okay, so I got them into logs. That's nice. Okay, let's see. So they said, I think he said Kentucky, and that is actually at 1800. That's number 8. So let's switch it over and do 20 meters real quick. Why not, right? Hopefully I can get at least a couple people. Now this will require that I've got to go over to the antenna and change out the top of it. I'm not going to change out the radiator. I got to take off this 40-meter coil at least. My hands are cold. The one thing about this Elecraft antenna is how the sides of it want to come undone. They're kind of held together with compression between these two nuts here, and I need to fix that. There we go. Now we'll try to put the whip back on. And the moment of truth. Will this tune up on 20 meters? Oh, let's see. Well, I'm not hearing a thing. That's not good. Let's see. Go back over here to the radio. We may have to put it back on 40 meters again. I need to get my other two parks. I am insistent about that. If this video gets too long, I may just pull it off. Let's see here. Okay, that's better. Okay, we'll call CQ here. I didn't hear by on frequency. That made a huge difference. That was kind of impolite for me to not send QRL first. I didn't hear anybody there, so I'm going to call CQ. And then I'm going to look on the POTA spots and see if the RBN picks me up, the reverse beacon network. If it auto spots me, then I'll know at least I'm being heard. Yes, I'm being spotted, and I'm getting actually a decent decibel level. So I only need 2 contacts. That's all I need. Come on, 2 people. Come get me. So I am running late. You can see I've been operating for how long now? What about pushing about 45 minutes or so, and I've got still, it looks like 70% battery power here. Now I could get a full 10 watts out of this if I would have brought an external battery pack with me, but that would make it too easy, right? So I didn't do that. Actually, I really, well, one of the things is my challenge this year is to always use 5 watts or less for my first 10 contacts. And so far I've always done that. So one way to make sure I do it is to not hook up an external power source up to this yet. Wow, 599. Only need one more. Come on, one more. Everybody send their good energy to the radio right now. Okay, let's do this automatically. Put it in beacon mode. The reverse beacon network's still spotting me, and it looks like the RBN spot. Well, no, actually, I just got a spot from KE5XV, which is very kind of him. If you're ever working a station, even if the reverse beacon network's picking you up, and even if you've had a spot within the last 5 minutes, go ahead and respot somebody. It really helps them out. So I'm very impressed with the T1. The more I use this antenna tuner, the more I realize it's just my favorite automatic antenna tuner for QRP. I like the mat tuner, don't get me wrong. This is a really specific challenge for this thing. It's just not what it's probably really designed for. It's done a wonderful job with wire antennas and things. This type of vertical has to be retuned, even if you just move, you know, a couple dozen kilohertz. You're going to need to almost retune the thing. It's not as broad band or wide bandwidth as other types of antennas. Come on, one more. Should show you this too. This is a little 3D printed case I made for the T1, just to keep these buttons from getting tapped when they're in my backpack. I found this on Thingiverse. It took it, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to print this, I don't know. And this is just using PLA material, not ABS plastic or anything. And it works great. It doesn't click onto it or anything. I keep this, one of my girls' hair bands. Okay. Missed that. Oh, come on. Somehow I just missed them. They were... Okay, gotcha. Come back to me. Good. Yay! Okay. Yay, got him. Okay. If nobody calls me, I'm just turning this off. Thank you very much for joining me today, everybody, and I hope this was kind of interesting. Yes, this channel isn't about doing it the easy way necessarily, and that's exactly what I did today, but I find this kind of challenging and fun, and it's one of the things I love about QRP. If I look at my logs here, I got stations from Indiana, all the way to Minnesota and Texas and Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio. And I got my 10 contacts, and it was really fun to do this. And I just have my logbook, an ATU, a really simple antenna that can be put up in just a matter of seconds, really. Well, minutes. Normally, if I'm hooking this up to my KX2, it takes me maybe 3 minutes to hook it up. And you can have fun here in a park. And I don't know. It's a nice challenge. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe. It gives me an opportunity to kind of see how many people are here. You'll notice I have no ads on my videos. I don't like ads in videos, so I don't put them in here. If you want to support me, you can. I've got some links to Patreon and PayPal below. But again, as I say every time, if you don't have the money to do that, or if you're looking to buy a radio and get on the air, don't bother giving me any money. Just put it into your own gear and enjoy this nice radio world we have. Thank you very much. 7 3s. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.